I want it. I want it. Joe Willy. I want
Joe Willy Flacco.
I want 3 trophies. That's what I want. Actually, hold on. 3 trophies. They were just there. They were on our screen.
There we go.
3 trophies.
How?
Dude,
do
I don't know.
And for those of you, first of all, welcome back to the show, everybody. Last week we were supposed to meet in person, and someone happened to catch COVID. So
This guy.
that guy. So we didn't really have a chance to discuss the insanity that is no, we don't even know what Joe Flacco's middle name is. Willie just seems to work nicely. We can look it up. But this was bought for me 7 years ago.
Joseph Vincent Flacco.
There you go. This was bought for me 2017, 2018.
Let's go with that.
Years after they won the Super Bowl. And he received the richest contract in the history of pro football, which I thought was certifiably insane.
If he wins the Super Bowl this year, he may again get the richest contract in the history of football.
So they're going to have $500 million with 2 people?
Sure. And Justin Tucker. Yeah.
So someone actually thought this was me because I had this on my desk all day.
So anyway.
Came in Sean Palmer, by the way, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah.
So how do we realistically explain what the hell just happened in the last 5 weeks?
All right. So here's how we explain. So 5 weeks ago, we raised the white flag, which you and I have never done in 10 years of owning this team. Now, 10 years ago, Seth and I, who we've been doing this show, 13 years, right? We're asked by our good friend, Nabate Isles, to be in. See, we're both about to smirk, and I'm already smiling. Our good friend, Nabate Isles, to be in this league. Now, Seth and I had been co-owned another league before, and we promptly got thrown out of the league for being complete and utter assholes. And we were, and that's okay.
Well, one of us was.
It wasn't me. Anyway, so we decided to join this league because Nabate had asked us to join the league. And look, Seth and I do the show. We like talking to each other every once in a while. So we like
every once in a while.
Yeah. So we decided to do this league. And it's the first auction league I was a part of. I believe it was the first auction league that you were a part of.
Yeah.
And in our first year, we don't do so well. We don't make the playoffs. And we have run 10 straight years of playoffs. And then this year comes. And we get to week 12, 13.
And to be fair, I thought this was we've had teams that have gone 12-1 or 14-1. I thought this was the best team we've had in years.
And I thought it was not a team at all that we were going to win with. And we had some good wide receivers. We had a good running back core to start. We had excellent quarterbacks.
And we had top 3 tight end. So I couldn't understand why you didn't like our team.
Yeah, wasn't a big fan. And as it happened, injury bug hits us big time. We lose Kirk Cousins, who, by the way, averaged the most points for us over the course of the year. We lose Nick Chubb. We lose Mark Andrews, and Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp. So the first 4 weeks of the season. So we're in week 12, and we look at our team, and we are, 5-7? I mean, 5-7. Yeah, because we had to win the last 2 games. So 5-7. And we have Tua Tagovailoa, who I can never pronounce his last name, Aiden O'Connell, Tommy DeVito, and I don't remember who our 4th quarterback was.
No, we didn't have Tommy DeVito because the Bate had Tommy.
Oh, right. And we had Mac Jones. We had Bailey Zappi because we had both of them. We had Aiden O'Connell, and we had Tua. And we said, you know what? We're done. White flag. Typical of reminiscent of what the White Sox did to the Giants when they traded all those players, right? And we summarily go and pick up Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco and Joe Flacco. So we make this trade. We trade Tua and Aiden O'Connell and Cortland Sutton, and we pick up Sam Laporta, and we pick up Garrett Wilson. And we don't pick them up for this year at all. There was nothing for this year. And over the course of the next 3 weeks, Sam Laporta outscores Tua. And Garrett Wilson outscores Cortland Sutton. And Aiden O'Connell doesn't play. And Joe Flacco outscores them all. So we make the playoffs via a tiebreaker, which I think
we needed 4 teams to do something, I think.
And we got them all. And we needed to win on points. We needed an X amount of points. So if you can imagine myself and Seth pacing back and forth across our various screens, looking at our phone going, do we have enough points? So we eke into the playoffs. First game, no Josh Jacobs.
No, the first game was no Keenan Allen, I think.
No, first one. Oh, you're right. First one was no Keenan Allen. It may have been no Keenan Allen. I'm trying to get the. Oh, here we go. Okay, so first week, we win 159 to 157.5.
On Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Jackson Smith-Njigba. We start Joe Flacco and Case Keenum. Two very.
It sounds like 2019.
Right, and we sat Bailey Zappi and Easton Stick. And that would have been the game to play Easton Stick because Easton Stick puts up 22.
Of course, he also lost 63-1, but that doesn't matter.
Who cared? And they played Keenan Allen, who had a 0. And because Keenan Allen sat out the game.
Yep. So to also give perspective, we beat the 3 seed and a 2 seed to make the playoffs.
Right. So on his bench, he has Deontay Johnson with 17 points. Okay, well, we would have been, and he also has Taj Spears, who had 4 points. Either one of those guys, we're out if he sits Keenan Allen. All right, well, we got through week 1 of the playoffs. Week 2 of the playoffs. Week 2 of the playoffs. We play
the number 2 seed.
We play our arch nemesis. No. I feel him.
Oh.
I feel him. Who is always the best team in this league. Always. Not this year. We crushed them. 182 to 122. And again, they play a guy that is injured in Josh Jacobs. Okay? They leave on the bench Derek Carr with 31.5, Nick Mullins with 20, and Richie James with 16. They still wouldn't have beaten us, but they left guys on the bench. We are led by Joe Flacco with 30. And our triumvirate of defensive players with 35 combined. Seth, I don't give myself a lot of credit with these things. I continually say I pick the best defensive players ever.
Because you do.
Okay. Now we're in the Super Bowl, and we've placed the 1 seed. Our good friend Nabate Isles.
Who we traded Tua to.
Right. The white flag went the opposite. So this time we decide to play Eastman Stick. We haven't played him in 2 weeks. When he puts up 22 and 20, and we play him instead of Jarrett Stidham. He puts up 11. We finish 148 to 144. Joe Flacco puts up 29.
And who does Nabate start?
He starts Justin Fields and Tua. Tua puts up 16.
What wide receiver did he start?
Oh, he also started Amari Cooper.
So we won 3 playoff games with each opponent starting a guy who didn't play.
And not realizing it.
Lucky.
And not realizing it. So the first game we certainly would have lost. And this game we would have lost because if he had played Jalen Warren.
Anybody.
No. He didn't have anybody. He didn't have another guy on the bench to play at wideout. He would have had to. I mean, he had money. He could have picked somebody up. No, he would have had to sit Amari Cooper. Yeah. But he sat James Conner with 27. If he plays Conner over either Rashad White or Joe Mixon, we lose. And Chase McLaughlin, their kicker, had 1 point. Congratulations, Seth.
Speechless. Worst team to ever win a fantasy championship. Nobody's even close.
Yeah, but sometimes it pays to be lucky.
Well, look, we've lost twice with the best team, so we're now the LeBron James of our fantasy league. Made 3 wins and 5 losses in the championship in 11 years.
I'm still. I'm not speechless that we lost. Look, I told you I thought we'd win the finals before it happened. I told you I thought we'd win the first game. The second game against Thielen, I didn't think we'd win. And we blew them out. I get that. But who the hell wins fantasy championships with Joe Flacco and Easton Stick as their quarterbacks?
Why don't you fill in who our running backs were?
To start or now?
To start with Nick Chubb and either Alexander Madison and Cam Akers. To end, Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba. I've been corrected.
And Gus Edwards.
And we played a flex as a wideout, which we never do.
We had nobody else healthy.
So Alexander, and we had no dollars, $0, because I think we spent like 40 on Bailey Zappi at one.
And now we have a championship.
41 on Bailey Zappi, by the way.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it
makes up for the 4 first-round losses I had in the other league.
And the irony is, of course, that the 7-7 team beats Nabate at 9-5, right? So the white flag trade, which I love to talk about white flag trades.
Well, also to be fair, we tried to trade for draft dollars for next year, and he said no.
That's true. By the way, you want to take a guess at how much we got Flacco for?
2.
No, we got him for 12. Which I bet you somebody put 11 in.
Maybe.
Wow. Okay. Let's take our money and go to Vegas. No.
You realize this is our cheapest league. It wouldn't even pay for the air flare.
I know.
Right?
I know.
With 3 stops on Frontier, it wouldn't. That's an ego thing.
Have you ever taken Frontier? Because I have. So I'm not
No,
sure.
because I travel with the kids. So no.
And before the kids, you never took AirTran. Yeah.
I didn't make enough money to travel. So what was the difference?
That's fair. So
did you watch the games on Monday night? On Monday night? Yes. Both of them?
So I watched the Washington game till halftime, and then I watched the last minute when you texted me at 12:30 in the morning.
Sorry I woke you, but that was amazing.
You did wake me at 12:30 in the morning, and I did watch it once you woke me. So I missed until they got to half. I missed was it a running into the kicker? That's when I caught up. Or roughing the kicker?
Roughing the fair catch. It was
okay. I missed that. So once that happened, that's when I turned it on. So they were up to that point. I watched the whole Michigan game, which still boggles my mind.
I didn't think it was a great game. I don't understand people calling it a classic.
No. So Nick Saban said he had 3 plays in mind. The first play would have worked, except then Michigan called a timeout. The second play wouldn't have worked. That's why he called a timeout. And the third play was a quarterback draw, which nobody thought was going to work. So I'm not sure where that came from. But yeah, I didn't see it as a great game. I didn't even see it as a good game.
I didn't think so.
It was a game. Look, and I thought I didn't think Alabama could stop Michigan no matter what. The whole game. Michigan tripped up themselves.
They did.
They should have won that game by 20. They just didn't. Alabama, I maybe I'm missing it, but I didn't see the talent on that team that I've seen in the past. Certainly not at the wide receiver position. There, and certainly not at the running back position. I mean, the quarterback is he a freshman, sophomore?
So I think he's a red shirt sophomore.
Redshirt sophomore.
About Milfo?
Yeah, they just weren't as good as they've been in the past. And that's
No, they weren't. They were not really a playoff caliber team. They won one game. They could very well have lost to Auburn. They could have earlier in the year. They had a really horrible game against, I think it was Central Florida. I mean, they were not a top. I didn't think they were a top 4 team. I knew, the problem was who were you going to put in? I mean, I thought Florida State deserved it, but I mean, after what happened, there's not much you can really say.
Yeah, we'll get to Florida State in a second because that's a whole new ballgame. But yeah, I mean, and I'm happy for Washington. I'm happy that not only did they make the playoff, but they won their game. Because I really didn't want to see a one-loss Texas team against an undefeated Michigan team. Well, maybe I did because I wanted to see chaos. But I think
That's not really chaos, though.
Well, if Texas wins, it's chaos.
Why is it chaos?
Well, I guess everybody's got a loss, so then it doesn't really matter. Yeah,
it's not chaos.
I mean, look, you're a Big Ten guy. You got 2 Big Ten teams in the championship now. Does that make you?
And who am I? And who I'm rooting for the one that's really not a Big Ten team yet, because I thought they would beat Texas. Penix is absolutely sensational, and his arm. I don't know if you saw. I mean, I guess you saw some of the throws. He threw a touchdown pass. I think it was the beginning of the 3rd quarter. In between 2 defensive players, he just zipped that thing from 20, 30 yards out.
He's a short guy, though, right? I mean, he's not.
6'3".
Really?
I think so. I think the big thing with him has been his.
Oh, yeah, you're right. 6'3", 213. I know he tore both those ACLs, right?
Yeah, it's been his injuries. But he
injuries.
can still move. He's not Lamar running, but he can move.
Is he a first-round pick?
What'd you say?
Is he a first-round pick?
I think so. I mean, I was surprised he was not a first-round pick before this, to be perfectly honest, because I don't mind if a quarterback is older. Quarterbacks play till they're 38, 40. Who cares if someone's 24 or 22? Just means he has more experience in college. I'm fine with it.
No, that's agreed. I agree with you on that, especially since we are the experienced people at this point. But the fact is, injuries do matter, right? Mobility does matter. You have 2 ACL tears. That's important. Whether you have degenerative knees or something along those lines. But I mean, is he the 3rd quarterback in the draft now? 4th, 5th?
I think you have Williams-May.
Right. A and B.
You have Jalen Daniels.
Okay.
And then you have this mix of McCarthy potentially, Bo Nix, or Penix.
Okay. Because I don't think Ewers is coming out. I don't think he is
either.
I think he's going back.
And he did not, I mean, until the final drive.
He didn't look good.
He wasn't special.
No, and it makes you wonder about Arch Manning. I mean, right? You kind of wanted to see him a little bit. I feel bad for Ewers, and I know I shouldn't. But did you see the picture of the media day?
No.
So Ewers is sitting there by himself, no media around him whatsoever, 0 at his table, and everybody's at Arch Manning's table. Everybody, and they explained it on the telecast as Ewers has been able to talk to the media throughout the year, and Manning has never been available because he's never been the starting quarterback. So this is the first time anybody's been able to talk to Manning all year. Man, I don't care. If you're in the Final Four and you're the starting quarterback of one of those teams, nobody at your table is kind of hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. 0. So, all right. So we have a game next week now. Big Blue against Big Blue. Well, I guess Purple.
Purple. The Purple People Eaters?
Big Purple. I mean, I know who I want to win. I just don't know. I mean, I can't tell you I'm rooting for Michigan because I'm not.
I'm not.
No.
I'm rooting for Washington, and I think Washington's going to win the game. Texas had a really good defensive line. How much pressure did you see on Michael Penix?
Yeah.
I think they'll be able to move. I think the running back, by the way, if Texas came back and won that game,
Yep.
that would be the single worst way to win it, to lose a game I think I've ever seen, short of the pick six. Of the kick six, excuse me. Because if Johnson doesn't get hurt on that play, there's 10 seconds left in the game when Texas gets the ball and it doesn't matter.
Right.
That's just a horrendous way to lose a game if that's what happened.
I will tell you one thing. I was impressed. I think it was Alabama. Yeah. The speed some of these guys have around the edge. I think it was one guy in Alabama and one guy in Texas that just ripped around the corner. And you're kind of like, woo, that's fast. You just don't. And maybe it's because when you get to the pro, and I don't watch as much college as I do pros, obviously. Everybody's fast in the pros, right? And what is the old saying? 10% of high school make college, right? And 10% of college make the pros, right? If not less than 10%. So it's the best of the best of the best, right? And then so everybody's running a 4.5, as opposed to some guy, unless your name is Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, in which you're running a 4.8, which still is faster than I could ever run, or Joe Flacco.
Look at the smile on Joe's face.
Where did Joe Flacco go to college?
Fighting Blue Hens.
There you go. Delaware, baby. Delaware. Who's the other Super Bowl champion from Delaware? Ooh, I like this. Wait, no, not champion.
He didn't win a Super Bowl. He didn't win
the Super Bowl. Who's the other Super Bowl quarterback from Delaware?
Rich Gannon.
There you go. I had to think whether he won the Super Bowl after I asked the question. He did not. So after this, right, we go to draft season, one of my favorite seasons, quite frankly. And the one thing that we know, and this will be debated for the next, I don't know, what month are we in? We're in January, so the next 5 months, is what does Chicago do with their pick? So first of all, if you're David Tepper, I can understand wanting to throw a beverage because not only are you shitty, but you're shitty and you don't have a pick. It goes beyond it all, right? And
you don't have a coach.
Yeah.
You don't have a pick.
You don't have a pick. And you don't have a wide receiver. Like, it would be bad enough, Seth, if you traded the number one pick, right, of this year. If all it was picks. But you traded our boy DJ Moore. Like, you traded your number one receiver to get this guy. And look, Bryce Young certainly deserves another year, another 2 years, perhaps if you're in Zach Wilson's mind, maybe another 5 years. But he certainly deserves more time. But, I mean, David Tepper was fined $300,000 for throwing that beverage. Yeah, I'd be pissed too. I mean, so what do you think here? First glance, we're January 3rd. We have 5 months and lots of talking about this. Is Justin Fields the guy, or are they resetting?
Oh, they're resetting.
Okay, so let's play that game. So
I'm actually pulling up the draft order right now.
Go to tankathon.com.
Tankathon? Okay.
Tankathon.
So right now,
it's right there.
Chicago, Washington, New England, Arizona, the Giants.
Correct. So New England plays the Jets this week.
We'll assume this stays as is.
Oh, okay. I think New England's going to beat the Jets this week. I really do, and I think they're going to screw themselves, and it'll just make me laugh more.
Fantastic. Hope they do. Moves us up a spot. Because as inept as the Eagles have looked in the last 8 weeks, 7 weeks. They're not losing to the Giants here.
It will actually not move you up. You will both have 5 wins, and it is the worst of the percentage.
Strength of schedule.
It's the worst of the strength of schedule. And the Jets' are strength of schedule would be crappier than the Cowboys or the Eagles. I don't know who you play this week, but it's
We play the Eagles.
right. So your strength of schedule would actually increase rather than decrease. And you're at 5-11, and they're at 5-18. So you would lose. They would still be in front of you. They would probably.
So our best hope is the 3. If Washington wins and if Arizona wins.
If Washington wins and Arizona wins, you would be, and New England wins. If all of them win, you will probably be the 3. Yes.
Then it gets interesting.
Good luck with that.
No.
I mean, Washington faces Dallas. Not going to happen.
Well, at home it could, but probably. But on the road.
Arizona plays Seattle, Arizona needs the game. Oh, sorry. Seattle needs the game.
True.
Dallas needs the game.
Yeah. Look, I think we're going to be stuck at the 5.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with.
Okay.
So, I mean, on a high level, here's the issue with Fields. He needs a contract.
Yeah.
He's going into a 4th year.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
So, are you going to be the guy who's going to pay him $40 million a year when you can reboot with a supposed franchise quarterback in either Caleb Williams or Drake May?
So I'm going to give you the other side, right? You know what you have in Justin Fields, yes?
No, I don't think you do.
You know the floor that you have with Justin Fields.
Okay.
Okay. The floor is a capable starter. Can we agree with that? He's not a Pro Bowler. He is a league average starter as a floor.
Okay.
He could be a Pro Bowler. He could be a All-Pro. He has that ability. He just hasn't shown it. But his floor is not Zach Wilson, right?
No.
His floor is not a bust. His floor is a league average starter, better than Daniel Jones, right? Better than half the quarterbacks in the NFL. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't know what you're getting with Williams. You don't know what you're getting with Drake May. And if you draft one of them and they are the next Zach Wilson, then you have lost multiple years in this scenario.
Okay. So let's play this out.
Yep.
You want to keep Justin Fields.
I don't want to keep him. I'm giving you the other understanding.
Let's say everything stays as is. Washington, New England, Arizona, the Giants. Okay?
Yep.
You are trading that pick.
Okay.
So let's look here.
Are you trading that pick or are you taking Marvin Harrison?
No, I think you're trading down to 3.
Okay.
And New England is taking the quarterback. Washington's taking the quarterback. And you're taking Marvin Harrison.
Okay. So you're trading with New England, right? Or whoever it is. So you're in this scenario, you're trading with.
Well, let's just to walk through. Arizona is not taking a quarterback.
Correct. Arizona is praying Marvin Harrison is wherever they are.
Yes. Well, they're praying. Look, they're praying that they can move up 1 or 2 spots, and that the people are going to trade for the quarterbacks above them.
Yeah.
So if you're Chicago and you're going to stay, you're going to keep Fields, you have to trade down. You're not taking Harrison at 1. That's no draft. There's no value there.
Okay.
You're taking him at 3 or 4.
Okay.
So you can't go to 4, as you said. You can't go below 4. And the fear you have is you go to 3, Arizona trades up to 2.
So you have to go to 2. But nobody wants to give you 2 because they want 1. They want
You
two.
got an interesting dilemma because
Well, you could trade while you're on. Hold on, you could trade while you're on the clock, right?
Yes.
That trade could certainly be conditional upon Arizona not trading up to 2. That can happen.
I mean, you agree Washington's probably going quarterback? I don't think it's necessary. I think they can get away with Howell for another year and see what else is and take alignment.
They've lost 7 in a row. They're going to get a new coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it really depends on who that new coach is. You know, I have for the last 10 weeks told you who I think that coach is. I think that coach is Bill Belichick.
The Redskins?
To the Commanders. We no longer say the naughty world. Yes, I believe Bill Belichick will be coaching the Washington Commanders next year. I have said this for 10 weeks. I think they are going to give him anything he wants and everything he wants, and he will go there. Do I think that's the best situation for him? Of course not. But I think it's like the George Allen situation, right? This is where he goes. He goes to the Redskins. And if he goes to the Redskins, I don't know if they don't trade that pick to like the Raiders and move down.
I can see Atlanta.
Oh, I could see Atlanta being the Justin Fields play. I think
Justin Fields is the obvious.
Right.
Georgia
I think it's
started off at Georgia. They need a quarterback. But does Atlanta have enough to offer to get him?
What do you need? Again, it's the market, right? What are you offering? What do you need to? You're at 7. You're at 9, right? So what do you need to offer? If you're trading Justin Fields, are you giving up the 9th pick in the draft for Justin Fields? I don't know. I mean, that's a lot.
You're doing this based upon you're going to sign Fields to an extension.
Okay.
And then you're going to have your quarterback for the next 7 years.
I get that, but much the same way as you are taking you are saying he's not worth the 1, right? Literally not worth the 1 because
he's not worth the 1 because of the contract he's going. So
is he worth the 9 for that? That's what I'm saying. Is he worth the 9? Considering you're going to have to give up that contract. If you're the Falcons, can you give up 2 2s and a 3 and get them? Then your next 2 2s?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, then you're going lower because I can't see the 9 pick being traded for a $40 million guy.
New Orleans? No, they still have Derek Carr guaranteed for another year.
Minnesota at 12?
Chicago's not trading with Minnesota.
Okay, but now you're limiting now you're limited, right? Now here we go. Right? So Chicago's at if the 9th pick is too much, the 11th pick it may be there, right? That's Vegas. Okay.
I don't think the 9th pick is too much. I guess
I do. I don't believe you're going to get a first-round pick.
If you're Chicago, do you want 3 first-round picks in this draft anyway?
Well, and that's why I'm saying maybe you go get Atlanta's first round next year. And for Atlanta, you hope that it's better than the 9th pick, right? Or worse than the 9th pick because you'll improve with him. And if you are trading down that far, is there maybe it's the 9th pick in next year's first and Drake London, or next year's first and Tyson Algier, and you go get yourself the running back, or next year's first and AJ Terrell, and you get yourself a cornerback. Like
they're not going. They just got. They have Jalen Johnson. They're not going for a second quarterback.
Well, they have to re-sign Jalen Johnson.
Which they will.
I'm just saying, do you do that type of deal?
Ryan Poles is in a heck of a position.
If he still has a job at the end of this year.
I think he will.
Okay.
I think, look, based on the trade with Carolina alone, I think he will.
Okay. Does
Moore,
Eberflus?
DJ Moore has been a borderline superstar this year.
Yeah.
Short of the Tyreek, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown triumvirate.
Oh,
He's been as
absolutely.
good as any quarterback, any receiver in the league.
Yeah, look, absolutely. I mean, DJ Moore was my number one wideout on my other fantasy league team. I mean, I know what he's done all year. Based on one game alone, he should be a fantasy stud. So, I mean, okay.
So what do you do if you're Chicago?
So let me ask you this. If the Giants were offered Justin Fields for the 5th pick, you don't think the 9th is too much? Is the 5th too much?
Yes.
So there's a big difference between 5 and 9, or is it just because it's your team? I'm serious.
There's a difference enough between 5 and 9.
Okay. So if you drop to 7, that's what I'm saying. Like, how are you? If we're going to 9,
the Giants can't do it also because they have
too many holes.
They have to sign the extension for Fields.
Not
after
next year,
right?
the year. Oh, you're saying because they have Daniel Jones for next year. Okay, that's fair. I can go with that. So, all right. So Washington would not make that trade under any circumstances.
No.
Right? New England's not going to make that trade. In my opinion, they would not make that trade.
For Fields?
Yeah.
No, not for the 3rd pick. No.
Even if they drop down to the 5th or 6th pick, I don't think Justin.
No, that's
Fields,
not the way New England does business anyway.
Correct.
But again,
Okay.
Belichick as you said, Belichick may be in Washington by that point. So
I don't-
whoever comes in may do different.
Yeah, it's not a I don't see it as a Bob Kraft move, let alone a Bill Belichick move. All right. Chargers aren't doing it. Tennessee's not doing it. The Jets aren't doing it. So you got Atlanta, Chicago, Vegas at 9, 10, 11. Okay? Could you see Vegas flipping the 11 with the 10? I got a better idea. How about you go all the way down, right? You go all the way down to let's go Pittsburgh. Okay? Let's play this game. Pittsburgh throws, or that won't work. Darn it. All right, let's say Washington drops out. Do you give the 10 and Fields for the 4?
For the 4?
Mm-hmm.
What is Arizona going to do with Justin Fields?
No. Chicago's moving up to the 4. Oh, what they? Sorry. Arizona. No, I'm saying Washington. If Washington is not sold on Sam Howell, right?
Okay.
They trade down to the 10 with Chicago, and they pick up Justin Fields.
Okay.
And Chicago gets the 1 and the 4. So they have the 1, and they pick Williams, obviously. And the 4 could be anybody you want. How does that work?
It also depends on whether,
like you need a team to trade up to
I know. I guess the
Chicago's
problem
down
I'm
to
having
10.
though with Caleb Williams is I'm not sure how he's going to handle the press in any of these big cities.
I got a better question. So Chicago is 7 and 9, and they play Green Bay at Green Bay. Okay, is Green Bay's not locked in, right? Okay, so they need the win, and Chicago's not going to lay down. They want the win too. So let's say Chicago wins. Chicago goes to 8 and 8, and they drop to 17 from that 10 spot. Okay. How about Vegas with the 11 pick for Fields and the 17? Oh, I love that. I love it. Or even Fields in I love it. Even how about Fields and I think Chicago has Carolina's 2nd round pick.
That I don't know.
So Fields in that 2nd round pick to move up or something along those lines for a 1st. Anyway, these are the types of this is like draft day 101. I love this. Let's move up, let's move down. Let's move up, let's move down.
Fun move, good premise, ridiculous draft strategy. Ridiculous.
Well, Jacksonville was ridiculous, right? 3 number 2s for the 6th pick in the draft was the ridiculous part. Everything else worked. Everything else.
Traded 3 number 1. You traded 3 number 1s to move up and take a linebacker.
They traded 3 number 1s to move up and take a linebacker, and then they got their number 1s to move back to 6 while giving up 5. So basically, they traded, and to do that, they traded 3 number 2s. So they traded 3 number 2s to the 6th pick in the draft. That works.
When have you ever seen that happen?
No, I said it didn't happen for Jacksonville. It works for Cleveland.
Yes, it works for Cleveland.
Actually, hold on a second.
Are you going to do a draft?
The Jets moved up from, I think it was 12 to 3 for Darnold for 3 number 2s.
So what's going to happen when we see Aaron Rodgers on the Jeffrey Epstein list?
Not Jimmy Kimmel? Aaron Rodgers? You
Aaron
think
Rodgers.
You think it's a shadow game?
Sure. I have no idea.
I don't think anything of anything is going to happen. You really think that? First of all, the one thing that's going to happen is that pundits from both sides of the political aisle are going to throw up their hands and go, "This is ridiculous. You can't support this guy. You can't support this guy. They supported Jeffrey Epstein. How can you support this guy?" How long has Jeffrey Epstein been dead?
How long has he been dead?
Yeah.
A couple years.
5 years? 4 years?
About that.
Old news. All right. My New Year's came good because my team got an OG. We finally got it. Okay, so the Knicks acquire.
I forgot which team we were talking about.
Well,
so many teams.
So I have so many teams. I have 5, the same way you do. My team gets an OG. OG Anunoby becomes a New York Knick. I love the deal.
Hurt giving up Quigley?
No, because we weren't going to pay him.
My
So
too. And Barrett's never gotten any better.
Yeah, so I was listening to the Nate Lowe. I love the Lowe Post, Nate Lowe's podcast. Zach Lowe's podcast. Nate Lowe is a baseball player. Zach Lowe's podcast, and he reported that people around the league thought that the RJ Barrett deal, which was a 4-year, $25 million a year deal, 4 years for $100, was actually a sunk cost, and nobody was trading for it except for Toronto. So,
and of course, why does Toronto want him? Because Barrett's from Canada, and you want someone who may. Again, I'm saying why.
I don't have a problem with that. As long as you team him with Andrew Wiggins the next time he comes around, that would be great. Steve Nash should be the coach. And you'll be good to go. Look, the Knicks had plateaued, right? They were where they were. They weren't getting any better. Losing Mitchell Robinson did not help. They needed a backup center to Isaiah Haberstein. And they got one in Precious Achiuwa, which is one of the greatest names in basketball these days.
He is precious.
He is precious. He's a precious guy. And look, the Knicks, have a handshake deal with OG. There's no way they send out that much without having something. I love the fact that Leon Rose's son is OG's agent. Let's bring it all to the family. I mean, why not? And look, this will make the Knicks better. The Knicks were a team that needed a guy that didn't need the ball, but could defend wings and could defend the Jimmy Butlers and could defend the Giannis's. And as well as anybody could defend the Giannis's. I like the trade. I really, really like the trade. And do I think the Knicks are a playoff team? Yes. Are they a championship team? No, of course not. But how many championship teams are there? And I think that's part of the deal. The Knicks right now are 18-15. And in the play-in game, in the 8th spot.
Really that low?
They are 18 and 15. They're 5-5 in their last 10. And I think that's what brought on this trade, is that this is where they are. They're maybe as high as a 4 and as low as an 8. But the Celtics are running away with it at 26 and 7. The Bucks are 24 and 9, and the Sixers are 23 and 10. And Miami is slowly creeping up at 19 and 14. And then you look at the Western Conference, and I won't say I told you so, but I told you so.
Is this like I don't pat myself on the back, but I'm patting myself on the back?
This is my show. I will pat myself on the back for defensive players and for my Minnesota Timberwolves being 24 and 8. And I will tell you the surprising part about this, Seth, is that their point differential is only 5. I would have thought it would have been a lot more. To give some comparison, both the Sixers and the Celtics are over 10. And they are.
And even Oklahoma City, who is amazingly the 2 seed right now.
And amazingly young.
Draft picks in the next 6 years.
And I don't think they have a player over 28.
They may not.
That's the thing. Oh, they do. Davis Bertrand is 31, who doesn't get off the bench. The guy from Estonia, Michik, who came over this year, is 29. And Kenrick Williams is 29. That's it. Everybody else is 26 or below. And they have, 17 first-round draft picks in the next 4 years?
Something like that.
Who's their guy? Who's the guy they go get? Because they can get anybody they want, basically, right?
They need a 4-5. I mean,
they need it. Do they with Chet?
Chet is 7'0", weighs 100 and nothing.
So you want Chet to move to?
Eventually, you're going to be playing against big guys, strong guys.
Okay. If you're going to tell me they need somebody to match up with Jokic, good luck with that.
There's nobody that's matching up with Jokic.
Right. So who's your guy?
Do you go look at Toronto and see about Podol? Again, I'm kind of spitballing.
Podol's not a bad. I like the Podol pull. I do. Because I think if they're rebuilding, they traded a protected first-round pick for Podol. So could they get one back? Podol, that pick, I believe, is top 8 protected to San Antonio this year. So that's an excellent pull.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll
pat you on the back for this one. That was good.
You look, is there I don't want to say Vucevic, that's not a right fit. But you need some bulk. Because I look at that team.
You need Steven Adams back.
Yeah, but he's not coming back this year. I don't think.
I mean, if the Pelicans were out of it, you'd want Vacilonis, right?
Yeah, but the Pelicans are like the 5 seed. They're not out of it.
Right, I said if the Pelicans were out of it. You're right. They're the 5 seed.
I'm just kind of looking around here.
That's the type of player you need. Actually, they're the 6 right now. What's that?
A Capella?
Capella doesn't do it. Capella's a rim runner. He
rebounds and plays defense.
True.
Charlotte doesn't have anybody.
I mean, Zach Collins is actually the perfect person from San Antonio, but he just signed an extension on that team. So I'm not sure they're trading him, but
yeah, looks like they're threatening Detroit for the Tower. Was it the Tower Flag sweepstakes? Because there's nobody this year.
Connor
Flag's next year.
Next year. There is no. You're right. There's nobody. This is the year you trade away your picks. You don't absorb your picks this year, and I could definitely see that. You can have. I want to see if I can do this. Yeah,
I just pulled up the Tankathon mock draft for 24.
For the NBA. Yep.
For the NBA.
What you got?
Ron Holland from the G League.
Yep.
Alexander Sarr from Australia. Nikolai Topic from Red Star Belgrade. Mateus Bazulis from the G League. Zach Risage.
So basically nobody you've heard of.
No.
Nobody. And I've watched college basketball this year, and there's no
First guy I've heard of is Isaiah Collier from USC.
Yep. And he's having an awful year. Like he's not playing well. Like none of these guys are playing well. But unlike the NFL, you're drafting based on potential. That's all you're doing. Unless your name is Victor Wembanyama, where I don't know if you saw the dunk that he had a couple of nights ago.
I did.
My Lord. Like, can I just do this? I mean, it's insane what he's doing. And they're 5-28.
Joe, what are your thoughts? He doesn't have any.
He does.
You agree?
He does. He does. He absolutely does. Okay. So, all right. So let's wrap it up here. So, give me a CFP prediction.
Washington 31-26.
Oh, so a really good game.
I think it'll be good. I think Washington's going to be kind of similar to the Texas game. I think Washington's going to take the lead.
Okay.
And I think Michigan's going to play from behind. And they're not a great play from behind team. But it'll be relative. I think they'll score points. I think Michigan will score some too. I think Washington's the best team. I thought the winner of Washington-Oregon was going to win the national title.
Okay.
So I'll stick with that.
Okay. Did the Steelers make the playoffs? They're 9-7 going against the Ravens. In Baltimore with no Lamar Jackson.
Give me a second here. If they win, they're in? No.
They're in.
How is it they win, they're in? They're the
They'll be 10-7. They'll be 10-7.
Yeah, but so will the winner of Houston, Indianapolis. So is Jacksonville.
No, Houston, Indianapolis will be 10-7, and wait, where's Jacksonville?
Not 9-7. They play Tennessee. They don't win it in. They're not winning in.
Hold on. Playoff picture. I think they are actually winning in.
It can't be.
All right. So hold on a second. So let's get this up. Let's figure this out. All right. So no, they're not. You're right. They're 9th overall, actually. So if Indy wins and the Steelers win, they're in. No, that doesn't work either. Sorry.
I have no idea.
No.
Did you look up the how this works?
Yeah, I had it. Hold on. Let's see. All right. Here's the 14 teams projected to make the playoffs. All right. Pittsburgh is not in here. Of course not. Playoff postseason possibilities. Blah, blah. All right. Here we go. Updated wildcard chances. Okay. They need help. They must beat the Ravens, and they must either see the Bills lose to the Dolphins, which I don't think is going to happen, or the Jaguars lose to the Titans, which I also don't think is going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Still, Mike Tomlin's best coaching job, even if they lose.
I don't know if I go that.
Nobody.
They don't have anyone.
They've been winning with Mason Rudolph, buddy.
Nobody seems to like Mike Tomlin at this point.
They've been winning with Mason Rudolph. Okay. Texans and Colts.
Who's home?
Just had that up. Colts are home. The line is Houston by a bucket. No, by a point.
I'll take the Fighting Minshews.
Okay. Jets or Patriots in New England?
The Jets.
Oh, you're killing me, Smalls.
I know.
You're killing me. Okay. Bills and Dolphins for the AFC East. It's in Miami.
I like Buffalo.
Yeah.
I think they're a better team.
Well, you and I said this a couple of weeks ago. Buffalo is the team you don't want to play.
Yes.
Like, I totally believe Buffalo's the team. Okay. All right. 5 minutes left. No Cooper Cup this week in case you play a week 18 fantasy league for some reason.
If you're in a week 18 fantasy, you should drop your league.
I used to be in that. You combine 17 and 18.
Horrendous. Combine 16 and 17.
Well, I got to tell you, the Doug Flutie rule totally killed me when he had 52 points and drop kicked it in. That was the first Super Bowl I ever lost.
You lost many, Susan Lucci.
I have totally lost many in that league. But look, NFL basically over, at least for me, right? Playoffs, yeah, no fantasy. But we will continue to have Joe Flacco. And by the way, the tidbit that Seth brought to my attention last week was the last time our team won. Our quarterbacks were Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco.
And on that note, we'll say goodbye and have a great week, everybody. Happy New Year to everybody. See ya. Next week.